Okay, good morning. It's 8:30. We will call to order the Douglas County Administrative Service Committee meeting. For the record, on the north wall of the west wall of the room, there's a copy of the Open Meetings Act for anyone and for purposes. We will go around the room and introduce ourselves. For the record, Chris Rogers, County Board.
Mike Friend, Douglas County Board.
Brandon Olson, Elections Manager at the Douglas County Election Commission.
Brian Cruz, Douglas County Election Commissioner.
Justine Kessler, Douglas County Election Commission.
Chris Carruthers, Chief Deputy Election Commissioner, Election Commission.
Okay, you all don't have to. You can if you want to.
I'm Jasmine Hanson, and we go to UNO. We're here for a class.
Oh, very good. Okay. Okay.
Okay, I do see Commissioner Marianne Borgeson on the Zoom, so we'll note that for the record. So we got one item today in this election commissioner facility expansion, and so we have for the record document here, one pager. Brian, turn it over to you.
Okay, well, good morning and thank you very much for having us this morning. So I'll go over the one page briefly. I won't go through everything, but before I do that, I just want to begin by saying, I think we've all seen the lines at the election commission during election season. The reason we're asking for this expansion is not for myself or for the staff, it's for the voters of Douglas County to serve them better. And we try to be extremely fiscally responsible in our office because we're all taxpayers as well. And I just do want to note for the record, in the 10 years I've been there, we've actually returned money from our budget 3 times over the years back to the county. And we rarely, if ever, ask for a supplement. We do live within our means, so to speak. So with that, our current office space is 20,000 square feet. We have about 13,000 upstairs, 14,000 upstairs and 6,000 in the basement. There is a space in our building that's about 5,000 square feet next to us. It's between us and the rows, and it butts up to our lobby. And so the landlord has agreed to rent that space to us for what we originally rented this space for 6 years ago, and he would just add it on to the lease. So that's 7.25 a square foot. And then that would go through our lease, which is 4 more years, 10-year lease through 29. And then there's an option for 2 5-year extensions after that. So the big reason, couple of the big reasons are, early voting has increased greatly since we moved there. We now have 50% of the voters in Douglas County vote early. And it's about 90% by mail, but about 10% in our lobby. Last year, we had approximately 22,000 people in a 30-day period. Basically 22 days voted in our office. So that's about an average of 1,000 a day. Our biggest days were 1,500 a day. And folks were waiting in line for 3 and 4, up to 5 hours at times. So, that's one of the big reasons. One of the other big reasons is our back office, the work area where all the work gets done. So right now, we only have one big work area, and in that big work area, we have voter registration, we have processing of early voting, and we have telephone operators there. And when the early voting's coming in and you're checking in the ballots and folks are talking, it's very distracting to folks trying to do the important work of voter registration that needs quiet. It's also very distracting to our telephone operators that are trying to answer calls to the public. So we just need more room for the work area. One of the other big things is petition processing. And I think you all saw, or if you have not read the paper yet this morning, you know, we had 6 petitions last year. There's at least 3 out there now. We're anticipating 6 or 8 next year. And you know, on those petitions, we get about 40% of all signatures, and we've only got 30 days. 40 days, excuse me, 40 days. We had 390,000 signatures that we had to verify last summer in a 40-day period. And we have every single workstation full. Plus, we use our customer service workstations at the front counter to process petitions because we don't have elections going on at that time. And then we also have some temporary stations on roving tables and laptops around. So those are, you know, the big reasons really that we're asking for this expansion is better service to the voters of Douglas County. So with that, you've got the 1-page handout. I'm happy to answer any questions, but that's kind of the basic overview of it. You know, the other thing I would like to point out is we do use the space, and we will use the space 95% of the time. People say, what do you do when you don't have elections? Well, last year we had the presidential primary, then we did all the petitions, then we had the presidential general. We turned around this year and had a special election for Millard, or a special election for Elkhorn, Bennington in February, a special election for Elkhorn in March. We have the city primary in May. We have the city general, city primary in April, the city general in May. And we've got another special election coming up in November for the city of Allen. So there's really no such thing as downtime anymore. We're constantly doing elections. We just got done, we manage all of the SID elections, sanitary and improvement district elections. We had about 60 of those that we just got done doing in September. So, you know, there's no such thing as downtime or not elections anymore. So that's why we're asking for the space. We do have the money in our budget. There would be some construction required to, you know, to connect the space with ours. We do have money encumbered to do that, so we're not asking for a budget supplement of any type. And then we also have money for the first year to help offset the additional cost for the lease. And then moving forward, we would ask the county to include that in our budget in the next budget cycle. And that would be about $36,000 additional each year in the lease. But we do have the money to cover the construction and pay for the prorated lease this year on that. So we're not asking for a budget supplement. So with that, if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So Brian, we've talked about this a little bit,
Yeah.
off the record and off to the side. First clear up a couple of things. What am I
Yes.
missing? The leases go 12-month periods? The
Yes.
New lease?
Yes, that's right.
So it's not like a 5-year lease,
It's a 10-year lease
but you have an option.
for 2 5-year additional leases. So our lease ends in 2029. And then we have an option, or the county has an option to do another 5-year lease and then another 5-year lease after that. So we could be there for 20 years total potential.
So if we took their offer, if the proposals out there, if we took the offer, I don't know if it's too early. I think I'm missing something here.
Yeah.
You sign the 5-year lease. What happens 4 years from now when you realize that, you know, the state or the feds have changed the laws, we're doing things differently, we don't need as much space because we're working from remote locations? Can we get out of it? Can we retract from the amount of infrastructure that we have without getting sued?
Well, our lease ends in 2029.
All right,
So
I think
that
that's
would be a
fine.
negotiating, I mean, I would say that would be a negotiating
Okay.
point.
I think that's fine. I was just,
Sure, sure.
do you anticipate, I think you're 100% right, and I think your team could, vouch for that. We've got elections popping up all the time. We've got a recall election and everything else. What some people will do, what some individuals will do, and it's a little anecdotal. Well, if it's not an election, there's nobody over there. I go over there, I can park anywhere I want. There's nobody in the building, blah, blah, blah. So we're gonna have to deal with that piece, and you already did. But the bottom line is what you're saying is with the increased need, that's rare. It doesn't have, I mean,
Absolutely, we, because like next year, we will send out our green cards, the early voting requests, we send those out in January. Around Martin Luther King Day, so we start bringing temps back. In January, for next year's election in May. And then we will be busting at the seams from then, because we'll have petitions next summer, and then the general election. So, we will start bringing temps in and our workstations will begin to be filled up. And then folks will start coming to the lobby to register and drop those off and all kinds of things.
can you guys get final? Can you tell me what it was like? I didn't go over there during the general election.
You're a smart man.
Did you have people sitting out in that lobby and
Oh,
working out in the lobby?
we on the back,
I know.
yeah. But yeah, that's a picture of the World Herald.
Oh, you had people working outside too.
We were waiting.
Well,
They're waiting to vote.
And working the lines and stuff, yes.
Okay,
And that's the other thing. One of the other things is we have one entrance in and one entrance out, and it's a double door. So if we get this expansion in the new space, there's 2 additional doors. So we can have an entrance in, we can have an entrance out, and we can also serve our curbside voters and ADA customers, because right now, folks that are ADA, wheelchair, walkers, things of that nature. We have people walking up and down the lines and we have door greeters and we're trying to serve these folks the best they can. But getting them in one door and the same door people are coming out, and it's really not fair to them, but we're doing the best we can. So this would definitely help, with traffic flow. It would help move folks through quicker. And for our older folks and ADA, it would be a huge benefit to them.
okay. Thanks.
So. I'm just curious, Brian, looking at this extra space, what?
Yeah.
It'll reduce this time because it allow you to put more.
Potentially, we could have more customer service, but it'll also, yes,
It'll mean the flow will be
the
there
traffic
and you'll have
flow.
extra boots.
we'll have,
Where people
we
can-
can have potentially have extra booths, we can have more customer service stations, things of that nature.
But-
Yes, it's our hope and our goal to reduce, the time we serve people, that's always our goal.
Correct. Last year, during the presidential election, I left early, frankly. We treat every day as an election day. If you're in line, you get to vote.
Mhm.
There was lines until 9 o'clock at night. I could close the door.
Yeah.
So that would alleviate,
Hope,
hopefully. some of that.
help some of that, yeah, absolutely.
So the 275 encumbered, the 36,000 for the additional rent can come out of there, so that's
Yes.
good.
Correct.
And the cost. I'm just curious, what's the other 100,000 of encumbered covered fixed costs? What increases?
So that we encumbered, or if a special election would pop up, we had money, a special election, printing. Ballot or printing of envelopes, ballots, things of that nature.
So you basically,
We were,
like the health department is building a fund of if an outbreak happens and they need to tap, you just got a fund in case a special election happens to go in.
we were extremely fortunate last year, even with our special elections. We had quite a bit of money left over, so yes, so we did encumber that. That's not always the case. Normally, like I said, I've given money back 3 years. We probably would have given some of this back, but we knew this space was available. And we anticipated coming and asking the board for additional space. So that's why we encumbered that money this year.
And I'm just saying, I don't know how you do this because I don't know if this is a state deal or if this is you, because if I was to say, because this is my own personal thought,
Yeah.
so.
Sure.
And I agree with this. I'm just saying, I think Nebraska is slowly becoming California because there's too many things on the vote every year if they ever go to California.
Yeah.
And you see the ticker at the bottom of the screen, there's at least 10, 12
Yep.
measures. And so.
Yeah.
I think people are getting to the point where there's some things that the legislature won't get through that they feel are different, and we're quietly eking to California where we got the ballot measure. I guess what I'm trying to find out, what do you think that increase is? Because I can't say compare Lawrence County in Nebraska to Lawrence County in California,
Of
because
course.
LA County is 11 million.
Right.
Yeah, but are you able to get some gauge about what you think the ballot percentages went over the year? Like you got it for early, but
Oh,
and I
yeah.
don't see that trend stopping.
When I first started 10 years ago, we might have had one or two. But part of it is when they used to do one or two, people who really wanted something had a passion for it and was volunteered. Now they allow petition to pay them. And so now, if you get, and it's on both sides, you get somebody that's willing to bankroll a petition for $1 million or $1.5 million, you could just about get anything, on the ballot. And, honestly, we had 6 petitions last year. We had 60 people to process those in 40 days last summer. We were working 7 days a week. We worked from 7 in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. We had weekend shifts and night shifts. We are at our capacity at 6. And to your point, we may have 8 or 9 or 10. And if we do that, I mean, I don't know what we do, to be honest, because we've got to get them done in 40 days. Now, we can ask the state of Nebraska for an additional 10 days, but it's irrelevant because it's in August and we've already got 100,000 early voting requests waiting for us that we've got to start processing. So the 10 days is irrelevant. I mean, we got to get them done in the 40 days. So this space would help, would give us more workstations.
Yeah.
And hopefully we wouldn't have to work so many hours.
So it has, like you said, it's kind of year round now. Has that accompanied with the fact that the district has become more swing national? Has the intensity picked up just in this county?
I think that's part of it. We do have a lot of national attention. Part of it too is, a big part of it is early voting has really, increased. When I first started there, we were probably in the 20%. I thought to myself, well, if I stay here long enough, maybe we'll get to 50% early voting, maybe. If I stick around long enough, and we're at 50% now, and that's only increasing,
What's the percentage you gave? You gave a percentage with that 50% of them. So-and-so was male and so-and-so was in person.
Oh, yeah. So of that 50% that votes early, it's about 92% are by mail, and about 8 to 10% come to our office and stand in line. But of that approximate 90% to vote by mail, a lot of folks like to bring that to our office and put it in our we use drop boxes all over the county, but a lot of people like to come to our office and use that. Also, that's another thing, people are coming in all the time, they made a mistake, they lost their ballot, they need a replacement ballot. People forget to sign their envelope, so we call them, they're coming in to sign it so that their ballot will count. And again, you got one double door that all these people for all these reasons are trying to come in and out of. And I mean, it's like, I hate to use this analogy, but it's true. Remember the old days like at Nebraska Furniture Mart or on Black Friday at 6 AM when they open the doors and everybody rushes? I mean, that's what it's like. I mean, it's just like a cattle call going in there and trying to get out. It's just, to put it bluntly, it's not a pleasant experience.
Do you, so in this renovation, do you need to do and I agree, is there in the renovation, are you planning a more robust drop off, meaning other than the box that sits outside that people can drive off? What are you planning any more? And I'm thinking like that's not, I was gonna say, a more like having right up to the building where we can put it in. I mean, I'm just explain to me, I'm trying to envision what the drop off experience is.
Right,
And-
so we have the drive up one out
Yeah.
there, but right now we have one in our entryway.
Okay.
And then one inside the building. And so when
So
people
if
wanna
you
bring them
walk
in,
and you can just drop it off in there instead of putting it there, you can just put it there.
you can,
Okay.
but yes, we would reconfigure things. You know, cause we would have, the new space has two entrances,
Uh-huh.
so. Maybe we make that third entrance just for that drop off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people can just easily come in and out of
Yeah.
there. So, yes, I mean, yes, that's all part of our vision for the traffic flow and ease for voters and have signage. If you're dropping your ballot off, use this door. If you're ADA, use this door. This is exit, this is entrance, you know.
What, are there any software advances that you could make to add to that for the long term, in addition to this adding any efficiencies that we can add in there for not only you, but just the people outside to be able to get better information?
You
Or
know,
you just feel like you're up to speed on that?
yeah, I do. I really do. You know, we have a big social media presence. Facebook and.
I mean, no, I mean
Tro-
like maps, being able to generate numbers faster, being able to
Oh,
print all the stuff.
Yeah, we've got a good handle on that. I have two IT guys internally and we have run that.
Uh-huh.
And so we track where all the ballots come from, every drop box, every day.
Okay.
And they can do all kinds of reports for me
Okay.
and everything. So yes, we're monitoring all of that all the time. So I do feel like, you know, we're up to speed on that as,
Okay.
you know, I do feel like we are up to speed on that, on the technology part of it.
For security reasons, we still use a lot of paper, like we'll
Yeah.
pass out paper in the lines
Mhm.
for people to give the information because we can't really give them like a tablet with access to our database.
And no, and I
Yeah.
don't, and I'm not and
Yeah.
I'm not advocating
Yeah.
for that. What I'm saying is like, the faster you can take that and are the systems good enough where we can put out, and this is my, Moneyball. I think Moneyball. I think do you got enough systems where you can give data to play and to see where the puck is going and not respond as is?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, the answer is yes. Now, to your point on that, Brandon was promoted to an elections manager.
Okay.
And he used to be, poll worker coordinator
So
essentially.
you were the guy that came to the board. No,
No, that was my replacement.
Oh, okay.
That was his
For the Hall of
replacement.
Fame a couple weeks.
So Dan right now, his replacement, Dan is sitting in one of our cubicles. He does not have an office. So if we don't get this space, we're gonna have to reduce our workspace where we process ballots and petitions and build a temporary office for him. And we have another temporary office for another employee we hired 3 or 4 years ago. He doesn't have a permanent office. He has a temporary office in the back. So that would also be part of this, is for 2 of our permanent employees to have permanent offices rather than continue to take up workspace that we need for their temporary office.
Well, you get this. What do you think is the time span before you? Because I keep seeing the evolution from that corner to. To where you were. And then to there,
Yep.
and then now that's expanded, what do you think is the evolution of space?
From here. You know, it's gonna depend on how the county grows. I mean, just to be quite frank. The drop boxes we have seem to be serving the public well, but we'll monitor that. If early voting continues to grow, we may have to look at additional drop boxes. You know, I think if we get this additional space, I really believe that will be good for the foreseeable future on that.
What's foreseeable? Because I'm
I
thinking-
would
I'm
say
thinking,
10 years, 10, 15 years, you know, if, at least the next 2 or 3 presidentials.
when did you move, when did we move into that building?
2020, Halloween.
We moving in that building 20.
Halloween of 2019, right before COVID.
Okay, so they COVID shot. And that put it on steroids.
Yes,
So you got this growth now. And I'm playing in my mind. So
Yeah.
say for instance, UP and Norfolk Southern merge.
Yeah.
And you get influx of citizens in. I'm just trying to gauge, I'm trying to ask this question and put it on record because I do
Yeah.
think. And I've had this conversation with Mike and a couple of people that we got a big space need. So my question is, if that place got too small, where is the ideal location for an election office?
well, to answer that question, I think the ideal space for the election office is where we're at. Because people know it, it's lots of good parking to serve the public. Now, if we got too small for that space and say we needed to open more space up for the public, I've kind of thought in the back of my mind, if we have to move some of our backroom processes, perhaps the Fitzgerald home. Or, well, I call it the Fitzgerald home, but it used to be
For backroom stuff.
what, the Fitzgerald campus, if there's room out there because the county already owns it. So, you know, if we say we had to move our voter registration department out there. So say we had to move, we needed,
You
Had
got
to
you got
move-
a bus line where you at,
right, but these would be employees.
okay.
So processing, if we had to do backroom processing of paperwork, there may be a possibility where we could move some of the employees and the paperwork out to the Fitzgerald campus, and then we could take where they were and expand to the public if we needed to. Does that make sense?
No, I'm just saying, so say that happened. The ballots on voting day would start getting transferred out to the fifth.
No, we'd still do all that at our current location
Okay.
because we have the county room there, we have
Okay.
all the security there.
So now
we
I'm trying
have-
to figure what would go.
So
Data entry processes for voting.
data entry, so like perhaps petition processing.
Okay,
If we needed to expand and we needed to have those folks do petition processing and we needed another facility.
okay,
You know, if we could have a place maybe at Fitzgerald with 50 workstations.
okay.
And then we could take those workstations at our current location and expand that for public use if we needed to.
Okay,
When we were looking.
Because the third floor, and not that it always will be, but the third floor out at Fitzgerald has not been renovated, right? So there is some options there, right?
Okay.
I believe, I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, if it's still there in 10 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
When we were looking for the space and found this, we were looking between Center Street, Londo, 72nd Street, and 132nd.
Yeah.
120th is demographically the center of the county. 160th or 180th is
Yeah.
technically the geographic.
somewhere
Because
out
our
there.
main office where we are now does have so much voter contact, and being on the bus line was.
Yes,
A large part.
was vital. We have to be on the bus line.
No, I agree. That's why I keep saying.
Yeah, yeah.
scenario, and I'm like,
Yeah, but that would be for data processing,
Okay.
just employees, not the public.
that's all I got. Any questions, on Zoom?
Chris, doesn't look like it. Chris, thanks. Is there, Brian and team, is there, the communication with Jeff, and I didn't see this in here, maybe I'm just bad at reading this morning. The estimated build out costs when you do make the addition, did Jeff give you a ballpark figure?
We have not talked to him yet, and that's one of the things we need to talk to him about. Obviously, and have him help us. Do we need to hire, does
What's
he
it
need
look
to
like?
hire somebody to do that, or will his guys be?
What's
able
it
to
look
do
like in there now? I mean, are there,
There used to be a church in,
okay,
so,
Pretty wide open.
it's wide open, it's carpeted, it's painted. So we might have to put a wall or two in, but it's finished.
okay.
I mean, it's
There's no-
essentially
The
finished,
ceiling's still open, no ceiling tiles,
yeah.
there's some things
Okay.
to do.
And there's a couple rooms, but it's a big wide open space.
Okay,
So, but this has to get done in 3 to 4 months.
Well, if you approve it or the board approves it, then working with Jeff, I mean, the election. Ideally,
February.
we'd like to have it done by March, 1st of April for the May primary. May primary is not gonna be near as crazy as the general, but we do have to process petitions next summer.
Yeah. I'm just
So,
trying to
so
get it
we gotta have it done. If we get this,
February.
that would be ideal. We gotta have it done by March or April. We've got to have that space for those petitions. I mean, we have to have that space for those petitions.
okay,
And it would be great if we had it for the May primary, because then the public can get used to the new space and the new way before we have the general.
Go for it.
Chris was monkeying with this earlier in
Mhm.
regard to all of the election noise.
Yeah.
Does state law have to be changed for the city to actually correlate with normal election cycles? What I would call
So-
normal elections.
In this last legislative session, the legislature passed a law that will allow the city elections to be moved to the presidential year.
Okay.
So now it's up to the city whether they want to do that or not. But the legislature did pass it to move to the presidential, not the gubernatorial year, but the
Right.
presidential. So it's up to the city now as to what they want to do.
Okay.
Mm.
I just wasn't sure. I'm
Yeah.
off the subject, but
Yeah, no, Yeah.
No, good. Thanks, Chris.
Okay,
They're taking note.
no further questions.
Okay.
We'll talk and start filling out how this goes. My goal
yeah, I was
is
gonna,
to get it
do
on
what,
my end.
what's the process from here?
I just need to talk and make sure everybody's on board.
Okay,
And if that happens, then we probably get it by I don't know if there's a meeting in the third week, because I think there's a holiday.
Columbus Day.
Columbus Day.
Yeah, so
So we,
fourth week.
if I may, sorry, so October is always unusual because of a statutory deadline, with the tax rates. That we actually do meet the Tuesday after
Oh,
Indigenous Peoples' Day, but we do not meet so anyway, we meet the 14th, we will not meet the 21st.
Then if I can, if I get a feel on where everybody is, money's there, it's just a fact of getting that, then my goal would be the 17th.
okay.
That's the best. The worst would be the week after 24.
Right, yeah, that's great, and if anybody has any questions, any commissioners or anybody, let us know. Just have them reach out to us, we're happy to answer any questions. There's some extra handouts, we can email those to, you have. Have them
I should be
there.
okay.
And I emailed it to, I think, did you got it, obviously.
Colby made copies, but
Okay.
and feel free to email me whatever you want,
Okay.
I got hard copies of the stuff.
Now, I would say if it's better to just email that to Kim and ask Kim to give it to the commissioners.
Okay, which I think,
I can also put the hard copies
Yeah,
at my
yeah.
desk or something like that.
okay,
I would do both. too.
Yep. okay, that's great.
Some people are better with paper, some are better
Yeah.
with electronics.
You bet, I understand.
We adjourn. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks,
Appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
you're welcome.
Good to see everybody.